Hey everyone, and welcome to the peer review module. So as you know, your paper is due tonight, but we also need to do a peer review. So your peer review partners will be listed under the module 11. And so let's go through some things that are expected of you during your peer review. Today, our only topic is peer review. So while you're making comments on your partner's paper, we'll talk about what will be a helpful comment and a non-helpful comment. So what is a non-helpful comment? An example would be, this is good. Although it seems like it would be a good and helpful comment, it's not. It's not telling them specifically why that section is good and how they can maybe emulate that in different parts of their paper. I don't understand. Again, it may seem helpful, but it's not. You need to say, what don't you understand? Do you not understand how they drew that conclusion? Do you not understand the sentence in general? Be specific about what you don't understand. So what's an example of a helpful comment? It's specific. So here's an example. The transition from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2 flows well. Now, this could be a great comment that you put in because maybe when transition from paragraph 3 to paragraph 4 is a little rough, you can say, this transition doesn't flow well. Can you make it something more like the transition from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2? Now, if they've read your comments, they already know that you liked that transition and it flowed well. Another example would be this one. The sentence, and then where the little dots are is where you would put in the sentence, is confusing because I don't know how A and B link together. So maybe someone starts the beginning of their sentence out on one topic and ends up on another, and you're not sure how they got there. So this is specific because it's pointing out that this sentence doesn't make sense and why. The thesis of your paper did not match your arguments. I felt your thesis could have been something like X, where X is where you give an example of how you might rewrite their thesis. However, I don't want you to rewrite their entire paper or anything. I just want you to give helpful suggestions. Do not rewrite their entire paper. So what are you covering in your peer review? You do not fix grammar and spelling mistakes, although if it's something you can't get past, go ahead and mark it up. If you want to fix your grammar and spelling mistakes, you can visit the Writing Center. If you visit the Writing Center, you get extra credit. And I know it's such a short period of time from when we turn our paper in for the rough draft to when you turn in your final paper. But you can visit the Writing Center up to twice and get two extra credit points. In your peer review, you should make sure to comment on any problem areas or concerns. So if there's anything that you see, you need to comment on it. Give suggestions how to resolve those problems or concerns. And again, do not rewrite their entire paper for them. And remember, you're reviewing the big picture of the paper. Are they meeting the requirements? Are they making sure that they have two sides to their argument or two sides to their topic? In their conclusion, are they telling us which side is better supported and why? You're not looking at the minute details, which is, those grammar and spelling mistakes again. And also, you are not reviewing their arguments. I don't care if you agree with their topic. I don't care if you agree with their conclusion. That's not what this is about. This is about their writing. Does it flow well? Does it make sense? Does it meet the requirements? So let's go over a couple examples. So here's a sentence. During geographical information systems, we evaluated data that is available with regards to how demographic data gathered during the decennial census and the American Community Survey integrated with information on library locations and services could help us analyze library services and places for improvement. Now, this sentence, yes, it is one entire sentence, is grammatically correct. But what would you fix about it? It's a one sentence paragraph. Is that okay? Could you break it up? So some examples would be you could tell somebody where to break the sentence up to have it flow better or have it make more sense to the reader, to make it easier to understand what's happening in this sentence. Okay, give them some examples of that. Okay, so here's another one. I had to look up positive resonance before I could answer this question. The definition I found was positive resonance, the idea that when two people share positive emotion, it is unfurling across their two brains and bodies at the same time. Now, what would be wrong with this? So one example is you could say, why did you have to look it up? And maybe you should replace I had to look it up with that reason. So I looked up positive resonance because I was unsure of its true meaning. Also, if you notice, they didn't cite this correctly. So you'd want to tell them, hey, citations look like this instead. As the writer, if you get comments back that are unclear from either myself or your peer review partner, ask. Ask what they mean. Ask for more information. A comment that is unclear isn't helpful to you. The goal of the peer review is not to have a perfect paper, but to improve it. Also, don't take offense to the comments. They're really just trying to help you out. And obviously, people may see things differently than you do, and it's okay. So your papers are due tonight at midnight. After you turn your paper in, you also need to make sure you trade papers with your partner. So whether or not you email them to each other, you share them on your Google Drive with each other, maybe you meet up in person, whatever works best for you, trade your papers. You make sure to share your contact information. So there are lists of partners in Module 11. So you can contact somebody through Canvas or their school email. I think it's listed there. But definitely Canvas, you can send them a message and decide the best way for you guys to communicate. I suggest you get started on this early because your peer review is due on Monday. So it's a super short turnaround. Also, when you trade your papers, tell your partner what your biggest concern was. So what did you have the hardest time with it on your paper, or what do you really want them to pay special attention to? Tell them a brief overview of your paper, you know, where you're trying to go with your paper, what your topic is, that type of stuff. And then, of course, when you have completed the peer review, you need to share that feedback. So if you've made comments on a physical paper, if you have made comments in Google Drive, if you emailed and you made comments on a Word document, you need to make sure to share that feedback as well as the sheet that you fill out for the peer review. So there is an assignment for peer review that you have to fill out a a form that answers questions. Be more in depth than just saying yes or no when you answer those questions. Also, I will not grade your peer review until your peer review reflection is turned in, because I want to hear back from your partner how they felt you did on your peer review. Okay, next week we will be talking about digital etiquette in law. You have 5 readings to do and 3 assignment modules. And don't forget, your peer review is due Monday, and make sure to share your feedback with your partner.